had an instance in Scotland where a friend of mine was in Scotland recently. He got very, very sick. They took him by ambulance. He was there for 4 days. He was really in trouble. And they released him. And he said, where do I pay? They said, there's no charge. And not only that, he said it was like great doctors, great care.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have a great system in this country if
Are
we had people
afraid of socialism? Is that
well,
what
they're afraid of a lot of things. I mean, I think they're afraid of a lot of things, but mostly it's incompetence.
So here's Donald Trump talking about how great healthcare is in a place called Ireland where they have socialized medicine. Let's listen.
I would like to see a plan. I would like to see a plan that could be better and cost less for the people. And you can do that.
I've told this story many times. I have traveled to other countries, and while in the other country, I have injured myself. And I have had to go to a hospital or to a clinic and had myself taken care of.
Right.
And in one case, it was, I had an arm reattached. And at the end of the procedure, they said they wrote me up. They said, it was like $12.
Yeah.
$12.
No, it's true.
So now what would be wrong?
Well, I had an instance in Scotland where a friend of mine was in Scotland recently. He got very, very sick. They took him by ambulance. He was there for 4 days. He was really in trouble. And they released him. And he said, where do I pay? They said, there's no charge. And not only that, he said it was like great doctors, great care.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have a great system in this country if
Are
we had
people afraid of socialism? Is that
well,
what
they're afraid of
about?
a lot of things. I mean, I think they're afraid of a lot of things, but mostly it's incompetence. I mean, how do you spend, I mean, this is a number that's a real number. How do you spend $5 billion on a website, just the creation of the site itself, and it doesn't work? So there are things, and the fraud and abuse are incredible, as you understand, but it would be great to have a system.
Fraud and abuse. Can you prove to me that there has been fraud and abuse? Let's see the paperwork.
Just look at your doctor's bills. I mean, you look at the doctor's bills, and you look at what some of these doctors do, and some of the money that they make, and you go to other countries and you see what they make. It's a whole different world, and there are things that you could do to give unbelievable health care at a lesser cost, not only to the government but to the people, and a much better health care system. And there are a lot of things, and it's a.
And so now he's in his second term as president, and he hasn't done any of them. What are the things?
Where is this guy?
What? Yeah, where's that guy? Where's that guy? I want that guy to be president. Why isn't that guy president? The guy who knows that we could get better health care at a cheaper price, and there's things you could do and he's been to other countries, and it works wonderfully, and there's no charge, and the doctors are great, and they take care, and they say, where's that guy? Where is that guy? So you've been lied to about healthcare, and the Republicans are still lying to you about healthcare, and the Democrats too, because the Democrats gave you this horrible Obamacare, which is nothing but a giveaway to the health insurance and Big Pharma. That's all it is, which is why we pay twice as much, 100% more than people do in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Ireland, Scotland. That's why we pay twice as much for worse service, and you still go bankrupt when you get sick. So I want that guy to be president. And Marjorie Taylor.
That's the guy who destroyed the political dynasty. That's the guy who destroyed the Bush dynasty, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like, that's the guy who destroyed the old guard, the Republican Party. Trump now is washed. Like, he's completely washed now. And, like, I know you did this many times, Jimmy, but if you guys ever have conversations with conservatives, like, I actually find them much more easy to win over than even, like, the more Pete Buttigieg-style liberals on this issue.
100%.
Because I appeal to their pro-family values. Like, how can you say you are supportive of family values, conservative family values, if you support bankrupting a family when they have a child? Like, whenever you hear like other like Europeans and Asians hear about how much it costs for an American family to have a child, it always like cause a panic attack in them because it's completely absurd. You're going to put a family in debt for having children. But what's more pro-family than having universal health care? What's more pro-family than having child care? What's more pro-family than paying a living wage to workers so you can have one breadwinner in a family? Like, if you want one breadwinner, you don't want a system where workers have to force both parents to work. You want a high minimum wage. You want a high income for the working class. you want childcare, you want healthcare. And whenever I have conversations with conservatives, when I do mutual aid, because I live in a red state, I'm used to talking to Republicans way more than these coastal elite Democrats. I'm very uncomfortable talking to those people, Jimmy. But I talk to these people, I'm like, we know family values and conservative values, which how did that not lead you to supporting universal health care? Which I don't even think this is a socialist issue, Jimmy. Like, I don't think it is because capitalist countries have it. It's common sense if you're going to have a coherent, well-vibing society to have something like universal health care. I think it's pro-family. I think that's something that can reach conservatives, which is why around 1 in 4 Republicans support, which I think was, I don't know if I'm being delusional. I think that's a great number. Plus the amount of independents, I think most people realize what we're saying on this issue now.
Depending on how you ask the question, 70% of Republicans agree that the government has to play a role in healthcare. Depending on how you ask the question, 70% of Republicans agree that, yes, the government needs to play a role in healthcare. And so depending on, again, and so if you're, so you've been duped into thinking that somehow Medicare is worse than Blue Cross, that somehow Medicare is worse than Aetna, that somehow, by the way, it's not, and it saves you 100% of the money. So all the money you spend on healthcare every year, you could cut it in half and put that money in your pocket if we had Medicare for all, and you would get better service. And people go, oh, you don't want the government to run your healthcare. Well, right now, Big Pharma and health insurance companies run our healthcare, and that's why we pay 100% more. Can someone tell me what a health insurance company actually provides? What value do they add to your healthcare? Zero. Exactly. All they do is they take a third of all the money you're spending and put it in their pocket, if not more. So they don't add any value to your healthcare. If we got rid of the insurance companies, you would have more money for healthcare. And you've been lied to. You've been lied to. You've been tricked. Just like you were lied to in the Iraq war, you got lied to into the Afghanistan war, lied to into a Ukraine war. You're going to get lied to in the Venezuela war. You're getting lied to into this healthcare has to come from an insurance company. That's a lie. Ask anybody who's on Medicare. Nobody wants to go back. Go to another country and ask them if they. I've been to these countries. Nobody wants to trade places with the United States healthcare. Nobody. And in fact, if you travel. And you can buy travel insurance, so if you're like a retired person and you travel 12 months a year, you can't, and if you buy travel insurance for your health care, you can't stay in the United States more than 3 months because that's how they know how expensive it is in the United States. And so if you get the international health insurance, you cannot stay in the United States for more than 3 months or else they'll cancel your health insurance because it's too expensive in the United States and they know it. Come see us in Australia. Second show's added in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. We'll see you in Burbank, California the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Plus, January 11th, we're going to be in Waikiki at the Blue Note. Tickets not available yet for them, but go to jimmydore.com for a link for all the other tickets.